Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to topic 3. So I hope you guys have understood how to move around in SketchUp in topic 1, and in topic 2 how to actually use the basic drawing tools and the selection tools. Now let's get straight into what the next command set is, basically the next category, which is our modify and edit category. This is where we actually get into the real playing of 3D shapes and of movements and of copying and of rotating and all the editings that we can do to a particular object or a shape. Now before I get straight into it, you guys will notice that this is not yet docked. By docked I mean it is still just free to move around. For docking it, we can just move it at the side like this, and you'll see how it kind of just fits over here very easily, right? So this is how we'll dock it, so we can easily work in it rather than it moving around everywhere. And if you want to change its docking position, you can see these lines that we have over here. We can hold it from the line and dock it anywhere else that we even want. So either on the left side or on the right side. Now once I've finished docking it, we'll get into what the next tool set is about. So I'm just going to delete this person from here, and let's get straight to the tool set. So the first one over here is basically the move command. Then we have the push pull, rotate, follow me, scale, and offset tool. So for this, I'm going to just use a rectangle, and I'll just be creating a random rectangle over here. So we have an object to work around with. Now the first command over here is the move command. So the move command will basically let us move this object around or the shape around. Now you have to understand a couple of things when it comes to using the tools for a particular method. If we are moving this shape from the surface, the entire shape will move. But if we move it from one of the corners, the entire shape will not move, but only that corner and the lines which are touching it. Now if you guys have understood this, you would have understood that the shape, the surface, is basically touching all the edges. That's why the whole surface moves together. But when we are moving from this edge, the edge is only touching the surface as well as both these edges. That's why only the edges which are touching it are actually moving, so your form starts to get deformed. If I move it from this line, so then only this edge will move along with the two edges touching it as well. So this is basically what we need to understand before we are moving something. So what we can do is we can select with the select tool the whole thing so that it's completely highlighted, or do a double click selection on top of the box and then move it from wherever we want. So that would be a proper movement. So I hope you guys have understood how to move this around. Well, the next thing what we're going to learn is how to copy. So we have learned how to move this. Now we learn how to copy it. Of course, do remember while we are moving it, we can always select the axis keys to move it in a particular direction. And we can use a particular distance also, let's say 5 enter, to move it 5 meters. Now to copy it, what we are going to do is, it is exactly same like move, using the axis, giving a dimension, but for copying we'll press Ctrl. So when I press Ctrl, you all will notice that there is a plus sign over there. Now we don't need to hold Ctrl, so there is a difference between holding Ctrl and pressing Ctrl. Holding Ctrl will let us just hold it down, but if you just press Ctrl, it will just switch off and switch on like a switch. So I can press Ctrl, and when I see the plus sign, I can select it from any point that I want to copy, let's say from here, and I'll copy it to this side or to this side, like this. The minute it's copied and I have set the copy, you'll notice that it copies on this side. So I'll just do that again and that again. So you can see I've copied it 4 times now below. But if we can copy, we should even be able to array. Array is basically to copy multiple number of times by giving a specified count. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all 4 of these rectangles, and using the move command, I will first press Ctrl and copy it. So the first step to array is you need to copy it. That means you need to set a distance for it. Obviously, you can see 6.29 is the distance that I have set. The minute I click, I will not do anything else, but I will press star. So you can see down at the command on the distance command, I have put in star. 4. So I've put in the number of times. This 4 can vary anything from 1 to 100, 200, 1000, anything at all. But I'll put in 4 over here and I will press enter. So it's copy first, *4, enter. Automatically you will see how this basically arrays. It's very easy. It happens after you copy it once. So once you copy, you will set the copy down. So you will see that again. Select, Control, set the copy down, then press star, number of times, enter. So automatically we'll have multiple copies like this. So that is basically how you will array. So from the move command, we can not only move, but we can copy and we can array. The next command that we have is the pull push command. The pull push command will basically let us pull up, take left, right, any surface that we want, which is a straight surface, we can pull it in any direction that we want. And this will basically help us create a 3D model or a 3D block to work in our 3D Now once you guys have understood this, let's see how we can move this block. So I'll use the same move command, but do remember, same like the plane, if I try to move it from any one side, it will start to get distorted like this. So the only way to do this is either you make a box selection over it, or a single click will select the surface, a double click will select the edges along with the surface, and 3 clicks will select the entire object. So this is how you will basically select the whole object. And once the object is selected, we can now move it in any direction that we want. We can copy it, and after copying I can just put in star, number of times, and enter. So we'll have a array copy. Correct? So this is the different ways that we can work with. So this is basically how you will move, copy, array, and you will use the push pull command. The next tool over here is the rotate command. So for this I'm going to be rotating this block. Now again, remember, if I try to rotate it from any one side like this, it will start to get distorted. So obviously I will need to select the whole thing, then select the rotate command. Now before we enter into exactly how to rotate, remember rotation needs 3 points. One is the axis of rotation, which is going to be the first point. Second is the point which we need to use to rotate. And third is the point till where we need to rotate it till. So I will use this as the axis of rotation. So I set my axis. Second is I want to start rotating from this point over here. And third will be to where do I want to rotate it, or at what angle do I want to set the rotation to. So let's say I set it at 72.5. You'll notice how this has been rotated 72.5. Now obviously we can rotate with this, but if I press Control, you will again see that there is a plus sign which is showing up near the rotation command. So Control will switch it on as well as Control will switch it off. And now if you know what a plus sign does, that's correct. It is going to let us copy. And the minute I copy it at whatever angle I want, right now I have used the 90 degrees, I can press star 3, enter, and I will have a rotate array as well. So you can see that. I can even select the whole thing and rotate it at a lesser angle, let's just say at 35 degrees, star 20, enter. So I'll have 20 different boxes rotated like this, which have now joined into each other. So this is how you will use your rotate, not only for copying, but even for rotate array. Okay guys, so the next one over here is follow me, but this is an entire 3D creator on its own. So we will come to this in the next topics, but let's talk about scale. Scale is basically going to let you select a particular surface and you will have the scale options on all sides. You can now scale it in any way you like as such. Correct? But as you can see, only the top portion is getting scaled, so it is getting distorted. Now if you want to select the whole box to scale, you will have to select the whole box and then press the scale button, so you can now scale it. Now understand, scaling from the corners basically means a uniform scaling, and scaling from the sides will give you ununiform scaling like this. If you scale from the top portion, you will get a height scaling, and if you scale from the sides again, you will get a non-uniform scaling. Let's say you press Ctrl and you scale. You'll see that it changes from this side to the center, which basically means you will get uniform in all directions by pressing Ctrl and scaling. So this is how scale option will really work. Now if you want to scale it, let's say 3 times, so I'll scale it from the side, and down on the scale you can see in the measurement area I will put in 3, enter. So it will automatically scale 3 times bigger as such. So this is how the basic scale command is going to work. The next command over here is the offset command. So for the offset, do remember, offset basically means to copy the surface inside. So we will be selecting the surface and we can pull it in or pull it out. So let's say I pull it in this much. You can see how it has now just created another surface with a particular distance. Now we can even set that distances. While I'm pulling it in, I can just leave the click, and down you can see 0.38. I can change that to, let's say, 0.5, enter, and we will now have an offset of a rectangle inside as such. I can use the push tool to now push this portion down and to pull this portion up like this to create a hollow surface. Now do understand, if I delete this surface, it is still hollow inside, because SketchUp creates everything hollow. There is no filled portion inside, it is all hollow. So we just build according to the hollow portion, and we use material and textures to actually create good looking models, which we will get into in the next topics. Whatever we have done today can be done to a single surface as well, or even to a circle as well. You can see that I can offset the circle, I can select the circle and scale it as well. I can push the circle up as well. You will notice that there are 2 different colors as well, the blue and the white. These are basically our default colors, because as SketchUp is creating surfaces while we are working, it has to provide a certain material, but it will not provide any specific color or a specific texture. It will only be providing this particular material, which is the default material. So we'll get to this in the next topics as well. I hope you guys have understood the basic tools of the modify and edit command. Please finish this much off, and I will see you in the next topic. Take care guys, and I'll see you in the 4th topic.